Hey there, it's Nathan. And I kind of just wanted to talk about keeping the spirit of something intact if it becomes more corporate, more mainstream, or has even just found more success and a larger audience. To me, it seems like this aspect and discussion has found its way into many entertainment industries, but I think an area that provides a great example of this may be the entire gaming industry. So throughout history, I think gaming has always kind of had a certain charm about it. Didn't really take itself too seriously, and it was, created by creators who had passion for the project and an inspired idea in their head that they wanted to share to the world. There was no expectation or pressure from those around them to create something or force a project to happen. They just wanted to make something, and so they did it. Inspiration wasn't forced from nothing. I mean, can you force inspiration or give inspiration a deadline? Seems like now creative experiences, especially in gaming, has altered the way they're made, where it involves big corporations now, and it would seem like boardroom environments, and seems to really have affected the way these experiences are eventually conceived. I mean, for example, first you had the whole DLC era, where DLC length almost began to equal the length of the actual main game. Then there was the whole forced co-op movement that completely affected the way games were designed, and then you have the whole loot box and in-game store phenomenon that forces players to pay with real money to many times even just progress forward in a reasonable amount of time. And there also seems to be a certain soullessness in these games nowadays. I don't really get a good feeling when playing them as I used to in the past. It seems like there's certain parameters that need to be met now with certain corporate goals, like maximizing profits that might get in the way of the vision of the original creator. For one, most game releases have to be open world now, giving players the illusion that they're really getting the value for their buck, when in reality the majority of this world is an open field or an empty expanse of land. So this in itself creates a feeling of emptiness and even isolation when playing these experiences. This open world aspect has also increased game length to an astronomical level, even just to complete the main story. I mean, to be honest, I just feel worn out when playing through games nowadays where every new huge area isn't exciting but draining and taxing. To me, it seems like the gaming industry would prefer more releases that may be shorter in length as opposed to fewer releases with a longer length. I mean, if we're talking about number of game releases annually, to me, I think one major open world release seems completely sufficient to have a year with a variety of more streamlined experiences to supplement this. And this way gamers just won't feel completely burned out when playing through the yearly releases. And I do have to mention the constant resource gathering that has made its way into most of these releases, having to constantly keep an eye out for resources at every new area, especially when game environments have become denser and more complex. I mean, just ends up creating burnout and even exhaustion. Lately, I've been getting a feeling of just wanting to put the game down and take a break, more so than getting the feeling of excitement and wanting to keep playing. And one of the purposes of this constant resource gathering may very well just be increasing the game length, where, again, the goal here may be to make consumers feel like they're getting the value out of their money as game releases keep getting more and more expensive. I do think the gaming industry has massive potential, which is why I'm mentioning these critiques I've been experiencing myself. I want the industry to do well and continue to grow and innovate. I feel like gaming can tell stories that are told in other areas of entertainment, like movies and TV. Except in gaming, you're in the story, you're interacting with the environments, and you're immersed in the world. Whereas a movie may only show what's on the camera at that given point in time, a game can show everything around you with just a turn of the analog stick. For example, I think the inclusion of motion capture is a great step forward when crafting characters. It really adds a new dimension to the storytelling and the way these experiences are created. I mean, it'd be cool to see the gaming industry enter a realm, or at least get close to a similar level of regard as other entertainment avenues, as, I mean, it does seem like society still kind of correlates gaming with Super Mario or basement dwellers. As the gaming industry does take strides to approach other entertainment standards, though, there is a possibility of kind of encroaching on many of the similar topics and divisive discussions that take place in those areas, and so it seems wise to kind of just keep a careful eye on this and not venture too far into a given direction. Including certain elements seems completely fine and even forward-thinking, but if there's too much of it or it kind of takes over the experience, I think that's when problems start to arise. I mean, the focus should be made on creating something great, as opposed to other topics. An entertainment piece shouldn't be considered a success purely because it was able to add in and include these ideologies. I mean, if a piece of entertainment or content was already great, there shouldn't be a need to include these other ideas to make it great. I do sense a difference in the way games are designed nowadays when playing through them, and I think it's really contributed to this lack of spirit and soullessness. It brings up the question if authenticity, inspiration, and true creativity can really be conceived in kind of a more corporate setting. Are these corporate meetings simply all about making sure all the checkboxes are checked and about how it can make the most money, or is there any genuine passion and inspiration left? I feel different when playing through game releases nowadays, and I feel this soullessness has definitely taken over other industries as well, where releases seem much more manufactured now. So as these experiences, content, or even entire industries become more corporate, mainstream, or even just become more successful, does it lose its spirit? As much of entertainment seemingly continues to move in this direction, is there a way to maintain its soul, its charm, its spirit, its magic?